Hello everyone, I'm Swananda Kadhe. I'm a postdoc at UC Berkeley, and it is my great pleasure to present our new secure aggregation protocol for preserving privacy in federated learning. This is a joint work with Niveth, Ozan, and Kannan. All right, so let me get started with the federated setup. As most of us know, it consists of a server and a number of mobile clients. In each iteration, the server selects a subset of clients randomly, and it sends the current global model to each of the selected clients. Each client trains the model locally on its local data to update the model, and then the clients send back the updated model to the server. Finally, the server aggregates the updated models to improve the global model. And this process iterates. A nice feature of this process is that the user data never really leaves the user device, and it is very good for privacy. But the question is it enough for privacy? And it turns out it's not, because models do leak information. In fact, it is possible to launch various attacks just by knowing model parameters. In some cases, models can even memorize user data, and this is detrimental for user privacy. Therefore, in order to guarantee privacy, it is crucial to design secure aggregation protocols. In a secure aggregation protocol, each client encrypts their updates, and the encryption done in such a way that the server can compute the sum of updates, but it does not learn anything more than the sum. Secure aggregation can also be composed with differential privacy to improve the privacy guarantees. Secure aggregation is an active area of research in multi-party computation. There are lots of works. This is just a representative list of works. However, none of these schemes can be directly used in a plug-and-play manner in the federated setup. And this is because federated learning brings its own unique challenges. The first challenge is that a federated environment is dynamic and users can drop out at any point of time. And this can happen because my phone is running out of battery, or I'm in a wireless outage, or for other reasons. Secondly, there can be collusions where the server can collude with a subset of clients. And this can happen because a server can launch a bribery attack, or a powerful server can even launch a Sybil attack. Therefore, it is important to guarantee privacy even in the presence of collusions. The first work we tackled these challenges for secure aggregation in the federated setup came in 2017 from Google. It's a very interesting work which uses pairwise additive masking along with Shame's secret sharing scheme. Last year, there were interesting works from IBM Research, and they were mainly using functional encryption and threshold homomorphic encryption. Recently, there is an interesting work from USC which uses ideas from coding theory. And just a few weeks back, there is a work from Google which improves on their previous work. Each of these works has some excellent features, but they also have some drawbacks. And because of these drawbacks, none of these works can truly scale to the magnitude of federated learning. So our objective is to overcome these drawbacks and design a scalable secure aggregation scheme. As a solution, we propose FastSecAg. FastSecAg is a secure aggregation scheme for federated learning with worst-case privacy guarantees. In particular, even if the server colludes with some constant fraction of clients, we preserve privacy. It has strong dropout guarantees. For instance, we can tolerate 5 to 10% of clients dropping out. And it has low computation and communication costs. The two key ingredients of FastSecAg is we use sketching to reduce communication costs, and we use FastShare to preserve privacy. FastShare is a novel FFT-based secret sharing scheme, and in fact, FastShare is the core engine of FastSecAg. So let me spend some more time explaining the ideas behind FastShare. In fact, secret sharing scheme is a well-known primitive for secure aggregation, and the most widely used secret sharing scheme is the Shamir scheme. Shamir's scheme provides worst case guarantees for both privacy and dropouts, but it is not scalable because the computation cost at the server scales quadratically in number of users. Now the question is, do we really need worst case guarantees for both privacy and dropouts? Well, of course, we need worst case guarantees for privacy because privacy is important. We cannot compromise in privacy. But dropout guarantees in federated are due to natural causes, and this can happen because my phone is running out of charge, or I'm not finding a network, or for other dynamic reasons. Therefore, if we relax dropout guarantees from worst case to average case, can we gain scalability? And this is exactly the question we are asking in FastShare. So let me tell you how FastShare achieves scalability. And for that, let me even take a step back and explain the Shamir scheme. And I'm going to use a toy example here. Suppose each user has two-dimensional model updates, and we want to construct 12 shares for 12 clients. As in any secret sharing scheme, we are going to use random mask to hide the secrets. What Shamir does is it constructs a polynomial from secrets and random mask. So in this example, we are going to construct a degree 5 polynomial, and we are going to evaluate it on 12 distinct points to obtain the shares. Interestingly, if we use the evaluation points as the roots of unity, then it turns out that shares are essentially the Fourier transform of a signal, which is composed of secrets concatenated with masks and appended with the zeros. And in this case, we can even use fast Fourier transform to reduce complexity to order n log n. Now the question is, if some of the shares are missing due to dropped out clients, can we recover the secrets? But here note that we cannot simply take the inverse Fourier transform because of the missing shares. And therefore we need to use polynomial interpolation, and this results in the complexity of n square. So the question is, how can we reduce this complexity? What we propose in FastShare is, instead of appending all the zeros at the end, let's disperse the zeros throughout the signal. So first question is, how are we doing this placement of zeros? For that, we select the number of shares carefully as a product of two coprime integers. In this example, we are choosing 12 shares, which is 3 times 4. And then we leverage Chinese remainder theorem, which allows us to represent these vectors in a 2D grid. And we place zeros on and near axes. This judicious placement of zeros, as we will see, is helpful in recovering the missing shares. How does it help? In fact, we can show that because of this judicious zero placement, shares satisfy parity check constraints. And we show this by leveraging the aliasing properties of Fourier transform. In this particular example, each row will add to 0 and each column will add to 0. Because of this, if there is one missing share in a row or column, we can easily recover it. And in fact, we can iterate to keep recovering the shares until we recover all the missing shares. Once we have all the missing shares, we simply take inverse Fourier transform to get back the secrets. It is well known in coding theory that this iterative decoding process is computationally efficient, and it succeeds with overwhelming probability when dropouts are random. So our complexity mainly comes from FFT, and therefore we achieve n log n complexity as opposed to n square complexity. All right, so once we are equipped with FastShare to generate shares and fast recon, this peeling decoder plus IFFT to get back the secrets even in the presence of dropouts, then we use these as primitives to design our secure aggregation protocol. And here we are using standard machinery from multi-party computation. Let me give you an overview using a toy example. So suppose there are 5 clients and each client has model updates of size 2. So the first step is each client is going to compute shares using FastShare. And it is going to compute the number of shares equal to number of clients. So it will compute 5 shares. So let's say that each client has computed shares from its model updates. Then a client distributes its shares to all the other clients. So here client 1 is going to distribute shares 2, 3, 4, 5 to clients 2, 3, 4, 5. Since this is federated environment, all the communication happens through the server. So the client needs to send its shares to the server first. And because communication happens through the server, the client is going to encrypt its shares. And this is a standard public key encryption. It is done in such a way that when the server sends the encrypted shares to the clients, the respective client can simply decrypt the share. Similarly, all the other clients would also distribute their shares. And as an example, I'm considering that suppose client 5 was dropped here. So all the clients are receiving the shares from all the surviving clients. In the next round, each client simply takes the sum of the shares that it receives and it sends this sum share back to the server. Now, we can show that our scheme satisfies linearity, meaning that the sum of shares correspond to sum of secrets. Then by using linearity and dropout tolerance, it's easy to show that the server can compute the sum of model updates from the sum shares that it receives. So this is how the secure aggregation happens. Moreover, by using the privacy properties of fast share, we can show that even if the server colludes with a subset of clients, it does not learn anything beyond the sum of model updates of honest users. So in this example, suppose the server is colluding with clients 2 and 3, then it knows the secrets or model updates of clients 2 and 3 so that it can subtract, but it can only learn the sum of updates of all the honest clients. More specifically, in theory, we can show that fast share can achieve information theoretic privacy. And without going into details, what we can show is that fast share can achieve a trade-off between the number of secrets it can share, privacy threshold, and dropout tolerance. FastSecAg, which uses fast share as its primitive, essentially inherits these properties. But even though fast share is information theoretically secure, FastSecAg is computationally secure because we are using public key encryption. And we are using encryption because all the communication happens through the server. As an example, if we choose the parameters in a specific manner, we can show that FastSecAg can achieve 10% privacy guarantees in the worst case. So server can collude with any 10% of clients and scheme will be still private. And we can achieve almost 10% dropout tolerance where any random set of 10% of clients can drop out and we can still recover the sum of model updates or sum of secrets. One last but important detail is that in order to reduce communication costs, we are using sketching. And this is because in practice, model updates are high dimensional vectors. So we are using subsampled randomized Hadamard transform to compress the model updates from d-dimensional vectors to log d-dimensional vectors. But in principle, any sketching scheme can be used. For instance, account sketch can be used. The main idea behind using a sketching scheme is to compress d-dimensional vectors to log d-dimensional vectors so that they can be effectively secret shared using fast share. However, even if model updates cannot be sketched to a smaller dimension, we can still use FastSecAg with some simple modifications. But I'm not going to go into details of that. FastSecAg indeed reduces computation and communication costs. In particular, I want to point out that the computation cost at the server was observed to be the key barrier in scalability. And FastSecAg substantially reduces computation cost at the server. In addition, we don't require any extra assumptions and we guarantee privacy even when the collusions are adaptive. So to summarize, in this work, we presented FastSecAg, a novel scalable secure aggregation scheme for federated learning. The main ingredient of FastSecAg is FFT-based secret sharing, fast share. FastSecAg provides worst-case privacy guarantees and average-case dropout tolerance, and it is scalable in terms of computation and communication costs, especially focusing on the computation at the server. There are interesting future directions. In fact, we believe that our scheme is more private than what we can prove for. So an important direction is to improve our privacy analysis. Also, we are running experiments to compare wall clock times of our proposed protocol with prior schemes. With that, let me conclude. The full paper is online, and if you have any questions, please do send me an email. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for your attention.